Hi, my name is Victor Baro, and I'm doing my presentation on Paul. Let me just give you a little bit of information about Paul. Before he was named Apostle Paul, his real name was Saul. He is from the Jewish tribe of Benjamin. He used to describe himself as a Hebrew of Hebrews, a Pharisee persecuting the Christian church. Paul hated Christians. He did everything he could do to try to stop the growth of Christianity. On the day that the first recorded Christian martyr named Stephen was killed, Paul began to destroy the church, dragging Christian women from their homes and putting them in prison. Paul wrote most of the New Testament. Paul's conversion. Paul obtained letters from the Jewish religious leaders to Jews in Damascus. He went there to bring Christians back to Jerusalem to be punished. The conversion occurred once he got close to Damascus. A bright light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Acts 9:4. Paul said, Who are you, Lord?" "I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting." Because of the amazing bright light, Saul had been blinded. He could not see for 3 days. When Paul reached Damascus, Jesus instructed a follower to pray for Saul for his sight, and immediately Saul could see again. At the time, Paul was baptized by a follower of Jesus Christ. Some motivational scriptures about Paul would be 1 Corinthians 2:4-5, which says, Paul's preaching was in demonstration of the Spirit and power, so our faith can stand in the power of God. 2 Corinthians 1:3-10, Paul suffered beyond power, such that he despaired of life. Someone may ask, doesn't that prove there are temptations which are beyond our power? Yes, perhaps we may face temptations beyond our power, but not beyond God's power. Paul here says we should learn to trust in God. Some important Bible references are Acts 8:1-3, which says, "And Saul approved of their killing him. The church persecuted and scattered. On that day a great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout Judea and Samaria. Godly men buried Stephen and mourned deeply for him, but Saul began to destroy the church. Going from house to house, he dragged off both men and women and put them in prison." Another theologian named Thomas wrote this about Paul, basically saying Paul's theology is God-centered and Christ-centered. We think here of Romans 11:36 speaking of God. For from him and through him to him are all things. So Paul's theology is focused on God, the one from whom all things come and through whom all things are accomplished. And ultimately all things are for his glory. Paul is dramatically Christ-centered, isn't he? He says in Thinking About Conversation, as you receive Christ Jesus the Lord, walk in him. Galatians 2:6. Paul's remarkable story helps the Bible be more intriguing for readers. Paul tells us, Do you know not yourself that Jesus Christ is in you, and how he wants you to live, how he wants you to improve? What should you deny? This pushes us to read more into what he wants to improve about us. Some devotional interests are, there any faith lessons that can be tied to Paul? Serve like Jesus Christ, not serve to Jesus Christ. Paul was a man of faith. Have faith in the Lord and all things will come to pass. Follow Jesus till death. Do not turn away from him. Paul said our lives are like letters. Write letters about your life and how you want to be. And basically that's it. God bless you.